Imagine waking up to a sound at your window. Scratching. Slow, deliberate scratching. You tell yourself it's just a branch, maybe an animal. But then you hear it. Breathing. Heavy, wet breathing right outside your bedroom window. You're on the second floor. Nothing should be able to reach your window. But something is there. And it knows you're awake. Today we're talking about one of the most terrifying creatures in modern folklore. The Rake. And I'm warning you right now, the stories I'm about to share have kept people up at night for years. Some of them still sleep with their lights on. By the end of this, you might too. So what is the Rake? According to reports that started surfacing online in the mid-2000s, the Rake is a humanoid creature that stalks people. But calling it humanoid doesn't really do it justice. Imagine something that looks almost human but is so fundamentally wrong that your brain screams at you to run the second you see it. It's pale, almost corpse-like, hairless. It moves on all fours like an animal, but its limbs are too long, too thin, bent at angles that shouldn't be possible. Its face is the worst part. Sunken eyes that reflect light like an animal's. A mouth that's too wide. And when it opens that mouth, people say the sounds that come out aren't anything that should exist in nature. The earliest documented accounts of the Rake go back further than you'd think. There's a report from a mariner's log in 1691 describing a creature that attacked crew members on a ship. The description matches. Pale, humanoid, moving on all fours with unnatural speed. There are scattered reports through the 1800s and 1900s. But things really exploded in 2006 when people started sharing their experiences online. And that's when the pattern became clear. This thing has been seen everywhere. Rural America, suburbs, cities, different countries. Always the same description. Always the same behavior. Let me tell you about some of these encounters, and I'm not going to lie, these are disturbing. There's a report from 2003 from a family in upstate New York. The mother woke up one night and saw it at the foot of her bed. Just crouched there, staring at her. She was paralyzed with fear. She said its eyes were completely focused on her, unblinking. Then it spoke. Its voice was described as a whisper that sounded like it was coming from inside her own head. It said something she couldn't quite make out. Then it rushed toward her. She screamed, and her husband woke up. The thing scrambled out of the room so fast, it was just a blur. But here's what really messed them up. Their daughter, who was sleeping in the next room, started screaming too. When they got to her room, she was sitting up in bed, sobbing. She said the pale man had been watching her sleep. She described it perfectly. Same creature her mother had just seen. Then there's the account from a man in rural Texas from 2009. He was a skeptic, didn't believe in any of this stuff. One night he's watching TV in his living room around 2 a.m., and he hears something on his porch. His dog starts going absolutely crazy, barking and snarling at the front door. He grabs a flashlight and opens the door, and there it is. Crouched on his porch, maybe 10 feet away. He said the smell hit him first, like rotting meat and wet earth. The creature's head slowly turned toward him, and he said looking into its eyes was like looking at something that had no soul, no humanity, just pure predatory focus. His dog, a German shepherd that had never backed down from anything, literally whimpered and hid behind him. The Rake didn't move, just kept staring. Then it smiled. He swears it smiled. And that's when he slammed the door, locked it, and sat with his gun until sunrise. He said he could hear it moving around his house for hours, scratching at windows, testing doors. When dawn came, it was gone. But there were scratch marks on his windowsills and a smell that lingered for days. What makes the rake different from other creatures in folklore is its intelligence. This isn't just some mindless monster. People report that it seems to study them. It watches from a distance before it approaches. It learns routines, figures out when people are most vulnerable. There are multiple reports of people seeing it, watching their house for nights or even weeks before an encounter, just standing at the edge of their property, observing. Some people have reported seeing it mimic human behavior, like it's trying to understand how we move, how we act. That's not random animal behavior. That's something calculating, something that thinks. And here's where it gets really dark. The rake doesn't just scare people. There are reports of attacks, scratches, bites, worse. There's an account from 2006 where a woman in California woke up to find it in her room. She tried to run, and it grabbed her. She had deep lacerations on her arms and back. When the paramedics arrived, they couldn't explain the wounds. The patterns didn't match any known animal. Some victims report having nightmares afterward, all the same nightmare. The rake standing over them, whispering things they can't remember when they wake up. A few people have reported seeing it multiple times, like it's following them, like it's chosen them for some reason. Scientists and skeptics obviously say it's mass hysteria or misidentification. People seeing deformed animals, people with medical conditions, shadow and imagination doing the rest. But that doesn't explain the consistency. Different people in different places with no connection to each other describing the exact same creature down to specific details. The way it moves, the sounds it makes, that unnatural smile. You can't explain that away with imagination. So what does the rake want? That's the question that keeps people up at night. Some think it's territorial, that it attacks when people unknowingly enter its hunting grounds. Others believe it feeds on fear, that it terrorizes people because it enjoys it. There's a darker theory that it's collecting something from us. Information, maybe. Or something else, something we don't understand. Why else would it watch for so long before attacking? Why would it come back to the same victims? If you ever encounter the rake, and I really hope you don't, here's what people who've survived say. Don't run immediately. Sudden movement seems to trigger its predatory instinct. Back away slowly while maintaining eye contact. Get inside and lock everything. Windows, doors, everything. It can climb, so upper floors aren't safe. Turn on all the lights. For some reason, it seems to prefer darkness, though that doesn't always stop it. Make noise. Call someone. The rake seems to retreat when there are multiple people or when it knows help is coming. And whatever you do, don't go outside to investigate strange sounds. That's what it wants. That's when it has the advantage. Here's what really bothers me about the rake. It's not like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster where people see something briefly and it disappears. The rake interacts with people. It gets close. It enters homes. It touches people. It speaks to them. That's not folklore. That's something that exists in our space, in our reality. And the reports aren't stopping. If anything, they're increasing. Just last year, there were multiple sightings reported in the Pacific Northwest. This year, people in the Midwest have been posting about strange scratching sounds and glimpses of something pale moving through their yards at night. Maybe it's always been with us, hiding in the spaces between civilization and wilderness. Maybe we're only now starting to recognize it for what it is because of the internet, because people can share their experiences without being dismissed as crazy. Or maybe something has changed. Maybe it's becoming bolder. Maybe there are more of them. The scariest part about the rake isn't what it is. It's that we don't know what it wants. It's intelligent, It's deliberate, and it's getting closer to us. Every encounter suggests it's learning more about us, while we know almost nothing about it. That's a predator-prey relationship, and we're not the predators. So tonight, when you're lying in bed and you hear something outside your window, when your dog starts growling at nothing, when you get that primal feeling that something is watching you, don't dismiss it. Don't tell yourself it's nothing. Because maybe it's not nothing. Maybe it's something pale and hairless with 2 long limbs and sunken eyes. Maybe it's been watching your house for weeks, learning your routine, waiting for the right moment. Maybe tonight's the night it decides to introduce itself. Have you seen the rake? Have you heard the scratching? Drop your experiences in the comments if you're brave enough. But I'll warn you, talking about it might get its attention. And trust me, you don't want its attention. Thanks for watching. Lock your doors tonight. Check your windows, and maybe leave the lights on, just in case.